name's Oliver.
Hello, I am Liz.
I am Adel and I am 10 years old.
I am Lu and I am 5 years old.
We are Familia por el Mundo.
We met, it was 12 years ago in Acapulco, no?
In Mexico.
Mexico, beautiful Mexico, Acapulco, beach.
Yeah.
It was in a nightclub, no?
And I invite you to dance.
Yeah, and I couldn't dance at all.
We met each other 1 year after we got married, and then I moved to Switzerland, and this family start. And now we have 2 kids, and that's it. So he had this dream, and I remember just we got married after 3 years. He started really telling me. He started to, hey, we should have and living on the boat. And me, even it was so far of away of this dream, it was for me not possible, because it's like how we were living on the boat. But he came always like it should be amazing, and every time he approached with me to telling me that. But one day, just I answered him, okay, now we have 1 kid. If you really want to sail on the boat, we need 2, because otherwise we'd be so boring. I remember. And then it's like, okay. And then my second girl was born. And then you told me.
Yeah, it was like whoop, 3 years forward, and then we still had this, or I still had this idea to go buy a boat and sail and living on the ocean, no?
Yeah.
We rented a boat in Croatia for a week, and it was late October, so the season we knew that it's going to be rough. No, I mean lots of wind. And
me no.
Weather change. You didn't know, but me I knew it. So we had first 2 beautiful days, and then lots of wind and storms, and it was quite a tough first experience, no?
Yeah, I remember just the captain of this boat, because he brought me there to really, it was the proof of to living on the boat. And for me, my experience, it was like this, moving the
with
boat.
The baby
and
around. No?
With my baby he carried, and me, just I remember the captain told me like, really, you have so tough weather. Normally it's not like this, because he knew it, and he brought me just for convince me. But finally, I remember a few days also with good weather, and I remember just sit on the boat, looking the ocean, looking the sea, and I was thinking, this life is amazing. But I remember I didn't tell you.
Because we had the idea to do it one day. It wasn't set up that moment, but we knew it. We're going to do it. And then the kids were getting older. You know, you live in your life. Everything's comfortable. The weekends you go skiing, mountain hiking, whatever. So everything was good. Friends. But still, I had this idea to do something different, you know, to move out of that circle. It's like the question, if that everything that life gives you now, no? So you think like there has to be more.
At the beginning, I need to tell you that really it was more to follow him, because I knew it, and he will ask me every day this. And for me it was okay, but it was not my dream. My dream became when I was on the boat. When I was on the boat, I realized, and I was thinking, that is really amazing. And I didn't have experience as a sailor, but I have my captain with me. So I say, okay, I just promise me that you will give me this every day. I remember this sunrise when we did the test, and you told me every day you will have this. I said, okay, let's do it, and me, I will manage the kids and everything. My feelings were like adventures, but nervous, because I didn't know exactly how everything will turn, okay? But I need just to trust in him, because he told me, he promised me amazing life on the boat.
Me, I always said, look, that is something that the decision we need to agree. Both we need to take the decision, because there we're going to be tough days. It won't be easy. There's a lot of hard days as well, no? So if it's just on the shoulder of one person, it won't work. We really need to come to an agreement and say, yes, we want it, and we do it together.
I'm going to sit on the boat, to look in the ocean with my kids, and for me it was enough. This will be the gift. That reason I took this adventure.
I remember my dad, because he was he worked a lot, but we did always adventurous things together. So, and that feeling of doing something with your kids, I had from him. We paddled all the way down the Ligurian coastline, with sea kayaks. And that was something, just pure emotions, memories that still I have now. And for me, it was always a goal also to give my kids something that they can, one day that they can look back and they can say, hey, it was amazing, it was an adventure, it was full of emotions, it was something extraordinary. Because if you live honestly, you go to work, you come back, the kids come back from school, they just change their backpack, they go to football, after they go to art class or whatever, me, I go to my training. You just live together, but you're not really interacting. Everybody lives on his own road. So sometimes, I was thinking, wow, that's it now, okay, so in 10 years they're old and then they're gone.
When we decide really to make this project, we took like a 1 year. I remember 10 months, and then we say we will do it, and then we started telling everybody around us, family, friends, and what's happening.
I think in the beginning nobody believed it. No, they were just saying, okay, the project.
But when it was closer, and then I remember. For me, it was the really tough decision. Is when Oliver came to me and he told me I need to quit the job. I was like, this is what we are eating for this job. And then I was like, yes, do it, Oliver. It's not back. We will do it. We were expecting that maybe they will tell us, are you crazy? How you will remove the kids from the school? And all this, then we were expecting that, right?
Yeah.
But not. In this moment, they told us, at least the teachers, they are good, they will learn more, but there were people around us, and they started telling me, at least to me, more of the danger. Even they show me videos. I remember someone showed me videos of how the people sink on the boat.
I think it was in spring 2017. I started to look around for boats, so internet, magazines. I look a little announcement of that boat, and I called the guy right away because there was no email address, was just a phone number. I called him and he answered. It was a German guy, and he said, I'm in Athens now, close to Athens, sailing down the coastline back to Turkey. So I say, hey, if that suits you, I come and have a look at the boat tomorrow. So I went back home, bought a ticket, flew to Athens, took a taxi to the marina, jump on the boat.
We looked at pictures, and then you told me, and I say, I think so. It's good deal, Oliver. Do it, and it was okay. And
so I flew back next day, and he sailed the boat back to Turkey, and 2 months later we arrived.
Yeah.
We left Marmaris and we sailed around the coastline. We sailed also to two Greek islands, and then back Rhodos after 6 weeks to Marmaris. And that was really good to get a feeling for the boat, what has to be renewed, but also what we really need as a family on the boat, what is important to live comfortable.
So before we have no big house, but then a house, normal house that everyone has, and then just a living room with the kitchen together, where we are going to make a homeschooling, small bedrooms, small toilets, everything was in one moment. And not just like the honeymoon of the ocean. It was extremely beautiful, but for the other side, that means that we are going to live in close.
The kids, we observed that when Atli went to school, he starts in Switzerland, you do 2 years of kindergarten, and then he went first and second primary class, that he had a very wild personality when he was a small kid, And then when he started to get into that system, it's like, I have always the picture, it's like a bird and you cut the wings, to make them a bit more fitting into the system. So that means, in my point of view, he started to get more quiet, he was not so wild anymore, he was more adapted, to the system. And we make the experience that when we went to the boat, he started to be more open again, because for sure you arrive in the bay, you have another boat with other kids around, so you need to interact as fast as possible to play.
I was going also to say that in the normal life you have your friends around you and you don't need to ever forget a new people, because the friends of the school are there, your neighbors are there, but also it's the same people, the same language. And this is, we are talking about comfort zone.
It's socializing more in the way of more fast getting in contact with others, and that's amazing, no?
Yeah, for us it's really very important.
Yeah, that's amazing. You know, when you're living on a boat and you met other sailors, you know that you're always going to need help at a certain point. So what is really amazing in this community is that everybody helps each other. That could be you exchange tools, you help yourself when the boat comes in. It's like, it's a really open-minded community.
Even me, I start to be around with the same people. And I think in the last almost 2 years, we never met so much people like now. And I can tell that they are my friends. At least I feel it. Now I can write email or chatting. And I know many people that we met, right? Because the people around sailing, they have also this connection like us. So it's more easy to meet them.
Something funny, when non-sailors or non-boaters ask us how is our life now, they always think that we're all the time on the boat. No, they think we're living on that boat and that's it, a round of water. But the truth is, we are socializing. The boat is just the tool to move from one place to the other place, and it's a floating home. But that doesn't mean that we're not interacting. We go as much as possible to shore. We make excursions when we can. We try to meet new people.
When we arrive, the first thing that we want to do is to go outside, walking, and to know some place. Even when it's an island, we want to have this feeling. So we leave the boat. Now to be on the ocean, in the middle of anything, when it's not the moon, and you don't see anything around you, it was most of my fears ever. And I need to first trust, and to live in, and to say everything will be fine, because and to have this experience, to control yourself, because you cannot stop.
You cannot run away.
Your kids are there, then you say, I trust in him, I trust in the life, I trust in God, and everything will be fine. And just to let your body, your experience, everything. The voice of the ocean is quiet, romantic, but what he wanna tell us also, the ocean, is, for me, I think it's like, don't be afraid, I wanna hurt you.
The voice of the ocean is, for me, is a metaphor. A metaphor is like when you sail and you see the sun goes down and the sun comes up in the next morning, and the water is still there, that everything is in a circle, that life goes on, everything repeats itself, everything is floating. I mean, the ocean is the only thing that connects everything together, no? And we are made out of water, so it's pretty much the essence of life, no? For me. When people ask me or recommend me, how you do that, or should I do that? And for me, it's very important, or I make that experience that if you're a happy person, you're going to be a happy person. If you're a stressed person, you stay a stressed person. It's not the way that you can run away of something and think when you are on that boat and sail around, everything's better. That's not true. You stay who you are. Even you live on a closed space, so your feeling, your happiness, your anger or whatever impacts more to the others than in your old life. So if you want to do it, I recommend them do it, because you can't turn back life, no, you can't turn back time, and find out for yourself.
I was going to say, if you are 50%, 60%, 70% and you want to do it, you need to do it, because always it's worse to say I didn't do. The advice is that I can tell you, you need to try it, and then you need to do it, and then you will know, because maybe for me my experience is different from you. But you will have other different things in your family than you didn't have before. As I say, to work on family, to challenge with yourself, with your fears or with your emotions. Different. This is definitely, I think so. You will have, and this is so good experience.
Keep on exploring.
I love sailing.
You should try.
I love to find new experience and find new places.
Bye bye.